I don't even know. It's my heavy. She does all these crazy. She's like, you should start. I was like, it's
Now 10 o'clock.
I like her. That's true. You know, when you get them. No. Holy cow.
Oh, it's not right.
No, we're not. But
Oh,
it
yeah.
feels like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
right. It's 10:01. Okay, so one more thing.
We're not doing party. We decided that already because that turned into something that was supposed to be, you know. But there should be like a fee on a contract.
No worries. Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to say it again. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to see all of your faces this morning on this drizzly, cold, but not so cold that we had snow or ice morning. So, yeah, maybe the day after tomorrow we can hope for some snow. They're not predicting that, but, you know, that's what maybe we can hope for. Yeah, well, good morning. My name is Cara Fortner. I am honored to be the minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Sterling. I am glad to be here, as I said, and really honored and grateful to have Reverend John, our affiliate minister, be with us this morning. So thank you. Glad to have you, John. This is Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, and it is a heavy weekend and an important weekend, especially in our tradition where we do our best to uphold that wonderful vision of Dr. King's, a beloved community. And we work every day, that is our intention, to bring it into fuller realization. And that is the hope, and that is what we are grounded in, and that light that we see, that we work towards. So this morning, I want to share some words with you before we begin, called Sacred Descent by Reverend Michelle Collins. She says, "Welcome, all who are restless for a world renewed. We come carried by ancestors who refused the silence of despair and dared to sing a new song. Their courage whispers through us still. Today we resist by showing up together. We resist by keeping faith with what is not yet. Our gathering is itself an act of sacred descent, calling us to rise and unite as co-creators for a freer tomorrow." That being said, there is a special thing that we are doing tomorrow, and we are marching down at the Leesburg Courthouse. Julia is throwing her thumbs up because she is coming with me. We are meeting down there to take part, listen, bear witness, and to march in solidarity with our siblings in honor of the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So we'll be meeting here tomorrow for carpooling, and I know I have a bunch of food that I've bought to donate. We'll be donating that at the Douglas Center before things begin. More details to come if you want to talk with Denise after the service, and Jackie's got a few more details for us at the end. So let us begin our worship by singing our gathering hymn, number 347, Gather the Spirit. Please rise and body your spirit as you're able.
Claire, I think you need to go tomorrow with Julia.
Gather the Spirit
here all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind. Seeds for the sowing are laid in store. Nurtured in love and conscience refined. With body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun. Winter to spring and summer to fall. The chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Thank you.
Welcome to this place of fellowship and peace, renewal and deepening, engagement and reflection. I am Jackie Mills, and it is my honor to serve this congregation as the president of the Board of Trustees. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your identity, age, ability, or history, know you are welcome to bring your full self here. I invite you to share a greeting with those around you, to both those you know and those you have yet to meet.
Greetings. Good morning. Let's share our invocation. Please join me. This is another day we have been given. This is indeed a sacred day. Let us be grateful for the capacity to sense, feel, and understand. Let us be grateful for the incredible gift of life. And let us be especially grateful for the ties of love which bind us together, giving dignity, meaning, worth, and joy to all of our days. So, a couple years ago, I kind of helped bridge the gap between Reverend Aileen and Reverend Ashley, and so I was preaching a lot then, and I was also working, so it was very stressful. And one thing that helped me get through that was every Sunday when I was preaching, I brought a book by Howard Thurman, and I just had it in my binder. And so when I was in the pulpit, I was looking at Howard Thurman. Because I just find strength in him and his words. And so Cara already has a book by Thurman up here, but I'm going to add mine in recognition of how he's been important to me. So our words, our chalice lighting this morning, the words for our chalice lighting come from Howard Thurman. And so on April 7th, 1968, 3 days after King was assassinated, Howard Thurman did a memorial service at the Fellowship Church, which was a church he founded in 1944 to be the first truly interracial church in America. And so this was, 24 years later, he was pretty much retired. But after King's death, he went back to do the memorial. And so here's a passage from his sermon. And you can light anytime. Sorry, I don't mean to make you keep waiting. So this is what Thurman said. It's so easy to think that what you experienced in the light is no longer true now that you're in the darkness. What you experienced in the light remains true, and you must hold this until the light breaks again. And if you do that, you will discover that it is the intent of life that we shall be all one people. For better or worse, we are tied together in one bundle, and I can never be what I must be until you are what you must be. For better or worse, this is the only option. I'll mention one more thing. That last line, I can never be what I must be until you are what you must be. That is a line from Martin Luther King's famous passage about the inescapable network of mutuality. But actually, it came from Howard Thurman, who used it in a speech that he gave at the YMCA, I think in 1927, when he was a seminary student. And so that idea is a connection between the two. It's you. Sorry.
I have to share with you all that I am so pleasantly distracted when I watch the screen and I see Reverend Dr. King Jr. smiling at all of our beautiful speakers. There's just, I'm so verklempt over it. Please join me in heart and soul and join in our chalice hymn, number 123, Spirit of Life. We can rise. Man, I love this. We are a standing, rising group. If you feel so, I'm trying to make it easier for you to read while standing. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape
The ritual of sharing our sorrows and our joys invites us to hear one another and to heal one another. You're invited to briefly share great losses or milestones. If you're in the sanctuary, please come forward, share your name and your joy or sorrow. And if you're online, you can share your joy or sorrow in the chat box, and we will give each one voice.
Yes, I'm going to fix that for you. Yes, please do. I just want to slide it out just a little bit. I don't think it's on.
Good, thank you. I'm Kathleen, and in December and January, I had joy and sorrow. In December, I moved into my new place near my husband in memory care, and my sister and her husband, Jeff, came from Colorado to help me move in, which was such a joy. And then they went home, and Jeff must have caught the flu, and it developed into pneumonia, and then he died at home about 10 days ago from cardiac arrest or something like that. And so I've known Jeff, our whole family's known Jeff since 1967, so it just leaves such a hole in our hearts to lose him. Bob and I all went to college together, and because my sister is very close in age to me, we just did things with them all the time, especially in Colorado. So I'm very sad right now about losing him. Should I turn it on?
No, you're fine.
I'm just going to share a few quick ones. Raj says hello from India.
Oh,
Hi, Raj. And we have many other people watching online. Jim, who's recovering, feeling ill, similar symptoms to some of the rest of us. So feel better, Jim.
other joys or sorrows? Okay, then let's put one last stone, acknowledging that there are joys and sorrows that are in this room, but still too tender to be shared aloud. So I'd like to share a reading from Martin Luther King. This is from his sermon, Drum Major Instinct. He said, "Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity or the second theory of thermodynamics. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love, and you can be a servant." So this was from a sermon based on a story from the Gospel of Mark in the Bible. And so in that story, there's two disciples, James and John, who approached Jesus, and they said, "Jesus, we want to sit beside you in heaven, one on your right and one on your left." And this is how Jesus responded. He said, "Whoever will be great among you shall be your servant, and whoever will be the greatest shall be the servant of all." I actually see kind of a similar argument happening now. We need to decide in this country, in our communities, what does it mean to be great? Does greatness come from exercising power over others, dominating others, demonizing them, and terrorizing them? Or does greatness come from connection, from recognizing the worth and dignity of all people, regardless of skin color or immigration status? I believe this debate is at the heart of our current crisis in Minneapolis. This isn't about immigration policies anymore. It's about whether or not we recognize our shared humanity. It's about whether we recognize our shared humanity. What dream do we choose? Do we choose a dream fueled by hatred and cruelty? Or a dream rooted in a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love? May we be servants of love. Amen.
For those of you feeling young of body or of spirit, I invite you to please come forward for our time for all ages. You're getting a carpet to put down. And you don't have to come forward, it's all good. I have a book here today that I am sharing, and it's called Martin's Big Words. By Doreen Rappaport and illustrated by Brian Collier. Everywhere in Martin's hometown, he saw the signs "white only." His mother said these signs were in all southern cities and towns in the United States. Every time Martin read the words, he felt bad, until he remembered what his mother told him. "You are as good as anyone." In church, Martin sang hymns. He read from the Bible. He listened to his father preach. These words made him feel good. "When I grow up, I'm going to get big words too." Martin grew up and became a minister like his father. And he used his big words he had heard as a child from his parents and from the Bible. Everyone can be great. He studied the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. He learned how the Indian nation won freedom without ever firing a gun. Martin said love when others said hate. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. He said together when others said separate. He said peace when others said war. Sooner or later, all the people of the world will have to discover a way to live together. In 1955, on a cold December day in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks was coming home from work. A white man told her to get up from her seat on the bus so he could sit. She said no and was arrested. Montgomery's black citizens learned of her arrest. It made them angry. They decided not to ride the buses until they could sit anywhere they wanted. For 381 days, they walked to work and school and church. They walked in rain and cold and in blistering heat. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them until the white city leaders had to agree they could sit anywhere they wanted. When the history books are written, someone will say there lived black people who had the courage to stand up for their rights. In the next 10 years, black Americans all over the South protested for equal rights. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. While ministers told them to stop, mayors and governors and police chiefs and judges ordered them to stop, but they kept on marching. Wait. For years I have heard the word wait. We have waited more than 340 years for our rights. They were jailed and beaten and murdered, but they kept on marching. Some Black Americans wanted to fight back with their fists. Martin convinced them not to by reminding them of the power of love. Love is the key to the problems in the world. Many white Southerners hated and feared Martin's words. A few threatened to kill him and his family. His house was bombed. His brother's house was bombed, but he refused to stop. Remember, if I am stopped, this movement will not be stopped because God is with this movement. The marches continued. More and more Americans listened to Martin's words. He shared his dreams and filled them with hope. I have a dream that one day in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. After 10 years of protests, the lawmakers in Washington voted to end segregation. The white-only signs in the South came down. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. cared about all Americans. He cared about people all over the world, and people all over the world admired him. In 1964, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. He won it because he taught others to fight with words, not fists. Martin went wherever people needed help. In April 1968, he went to Memphis, Tennessee. He went to help garbage collectors who were on strike. He walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. On his second day there, he was shot and he died. And his big words are alive for us today. Martin's big words. May they be with you as you go into our spaces in the back for religious exploration and education. And let us sing together as you go.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go, to nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
It is time for our offering. We have received freely of gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. May we now gladly give a portion of that bounty. 2/3 of the cash offering will support our congregation. The remaining 1/3 will go to support our justice cause. This month, it is Loudon Wildlife Conservancy. Loudon Wildlife Conservancy is a local, all-volunteer nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting the preservation and proliferation of healthy wildlife habitats throughout Loudoun County. Their work includes education, events, and some other things. That's where it stops. If you are in the sanctuary, you may place your donations in the baskets as they are passed. Online attendees can use the donate button in the virtual order of service. Donations may also be made by mail or via the donate tab on the UUCS homepage, and there is also a QR code in the printed order of service that leads to the donate tab. Please note when your donation is towards your pledge. Thank you for your generosity to our congregation and to our community.
How lucky are we to have Chris? Friends, as a new minister in our precious tradition, I am thrilled to get to preach this Sunday, this Martin Luther King Jr. Sunday. It is a Sunday we traditionally use as an opportunity to discuss and be in communion with the historical impact of Dr. King's legacy. And this year finds us in a stunningly different moment on the world stage, and I have struggled to find the right words to bring to you this morning. And I'm not alone. Ministers across the country have shared their struggle this week to find the right words. I have been repeatedly heartbroken over the ruthless treatment of our immigrant neighbors. And the events in the Twin Cities of Minnesota right now have been chaotic and anti-American, at least anti our highest American ideals. And far from what I know Dr. King would have hoped we would have achieved by now. In the UU tradition, our greatest aspirations, as I said earlier today, are to create beloved community, a term popularized by Reverend King. Beloved community is a society where all people are cared for, have opportunities and the freedom to flourish, where a true shalom, a true salam, which is more than just peace, it is thriving, is a reality for all people. It is what Jesus called the kingdom of heaven, and what we as Unitarian Universalists have historically held as our sixth principle, a global community with liberty and justice for all, which also not so coincidentally rings similarly to those words we recited every morning in schoolrooms with our hands over our hearts and our eyes fixed on the American flag. And given the state of things today, it can feel like we are nowhere near beloved community. But I know that that is not true. And I have not lost hope as I watch as people are bravely standing up for their neighbors, providing mutual aid, supporting each other, schools shutting down for the safety of their children and those children's grown-ups. Sentinels armed with whistles to alert for activity in the area. People opening their homes to protesters to give them a respite from the cold that I cannot even imagine in Minneapolis. The peaceful and persistent protests and care happening is reminding me that beloved community is in the spaces we create. And much like that call that King put out for clergy to come to Selma, there has been a call put out to clergy across the country to join together in Minneapolis next week. And as James Reeb and Viola Liuzzo, two Unitarian Universalists, one a minister and one a lay leader, they did not make it home to their partners and children. And I am weighing the risks I am willing to take to fight for justice. So this morning, what I have chosen to discuss with you is Howard Thurman, my favorite theologian, which I have mentioned from this pulpit before, and apparently one of John's also, and it makes a lot of sense. He was also one of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's favorites as well. In fact, it was his book, Jesus and the Disinherited, this book, that King carried around with him to every march, every protest, every witness across the American South. Howard Thurman in this book had a pretty powerful and simple message that he told in 5 chapters. And the first chapter is called Jesus, an Interpretation, and is deeply rooted in his moral and ethical teachings as a political revolutionary and activist who stood on the side of people who were marginalized and oppressed. Jesus was a Jew, part of the marginalized community in the Roman Empire. The following chapters in this book are titled Fear, Deception, Hate, and Love. And fear, he talks about the fear that is passed down generationally from one person to another that is within a group that has been terrorized, like the group to which Howard Thurman belonged, and the group to which Martin Luther King Jr. belonged. Deception, he writes, is perhaps the oldest of all the techniques by which the weak have protected themselves against the strong. He goes on, the question of deception is not academic, but profoundly ethical and spiritual, going to the very heart of human relations. For it raises the issue of honesty, integrity, and the consequences thereof over and against duplicity and deception and the attendant consequences. He goes on to talk about deception as compromise rooted out of a need to simply survive, acknowledging the real and very true threats against lives when we speak truth in places where truth is not welcome. Hate, he says, cannot be defined, it can only be described. In fact, he describes it as contact without fellowship. Contact that is devoid of any of the primary overtures of warmth and fellow feeling and genuineness. He talks about hatred as if it is a virus that can spread easily from one person to another, especially when a person opens their mouth, spreading that hatred. He also regularly goes back to the dynamic that exists between weak and strong, because that power dynamic is always at play, whether we are aware of it or not. And from the perspective of those who are marginalized, he goes on to describe the kind of hatred that festers in hearts, because there it is safe to hate the people who condemn them, who terrorize, who belittle. But he says when hatred serves as a dimension of self-realization, the illusion of righteousness is easy to create. Often there are but thin lines between bitterness, hatred, self-realization, defiance, and righteous indignation, leading us to do things that we might claim are defensible, like what happened last week to Renee Good, even when they clearly are not. He is clear in this chapter that hatred does not discriminate against weak or strong. It can take root anywhere. Thurman ends the book with a chapter on love. And he brings us back to Jesus and says that there is a central love ethic to Jesus' ministry and to the religion of Jesus, which he is clear is quite a different thing than Christianity. Christianity, which had been upholding white supremacy culture instead of lifting up those with their backs against the wall, those like his people who were in the throes of Jim Crow, like the Jews who were in the throes of Roman Empire. Jesus called on his people to love their neighbor, to love those outside the household of Israel, the Samaritan, the Roman, the tax collector. The religion of Jesus is one that is in essence about loving one another, including loving your enemy. He goes on to define love in the same way he defines hate. Hate is contact without fellowship. Love is contact with fellowship. Love is seeing one another in mutuality, that inescapable network, seeing one another as siblings. Thurman writes, no amount of good feeling for people in general, no amount of simple desiring is adequate. It is the act of inner authority. well within the reach of everyone. Obviously, then, merely preaching love of one's enemies, however high and holy, cannot accomplish this result. He says it takes painstaking discipline, which can only be made possible by personal triumph. He goes on the ethical demand upon the more privileged and the underprivileged is the same. When Thurman talks about weak and strong, privileged and underprivileged, he doesn't equate one with the other. It's not like weak is the privileged or underprivileged, or strong is the privileged or underprivileged. He says we each have a responsibility to cultivate that which we are called to do, which is to love one another, which is one heck of a big ask. And that is an inward journey. He calls it a personal triumph, something of the Spirit. And this book was first published in 1949, after Thurman had a mystical experience while visiting the Indian people and Mohandas Gandhi in 1936. The Indian people who suffered in a similar way to the people in a similar system to that of the black people in America under colonialism and under caste. Gandhi introduced Thurman to the Hindu concepts of ahimsa and satyagraha, which are nonviolence and firmness of truth. And nonviolence works in conjunction with the firmness of truth that all people have inherent worth and dignity. It's based on the same idea that's present in this book about love, contact with fellowship. That reminds us to love our enemies, challenges us to wish no harm on any other human, even those who might wish to cause harm to us. And as we are bearing witness to the injustices around us, we may feel anger rise in us, but we must not let it fester into hatred. We may feel passion stir in us, and we cannot give it the power to turn into violence. Now, Unitarian Universalists are familiar with peace, love, and that first principle of inherent worth and dignity of all people. But I have said this before, and I'll say it countless times, knowledge is quite a different thing from practice. Because the words that we use and the actions that we take are expressions of what we have built inside. My most fervent prayer is that we can be honest with ourselves over the state of our own spirits and learn to be okay with the discomfort and challenge of that process. I pray that the actions we take in the public sphere are rooted in the power of the Spirit we cultivate within. The Spirit that hopes, looks for, and is willing to see the Spirit in all other people. The human spirit that transcends difference, that hopes for so much. One thing Howard Thurman was most clear on was that transformed people transform the world. He said it clearly in his book about love as an inward journey. If we can destruct the things that we've been taught about what others are or are not, if we can make space in our own hearts and souls to welcome each other in true fellowship, with full acceptance of the differences among us, which again is so much easier to say than to do, then we will truly be loving and we'll be that much closer to beloved community. The beloved community that Dr. King spoke so eloquently and passionately for. To the beloved community he died for.
At the beginning of this song, there's a space for you. I sing this song many, many times throughout the year, throughout the month. It's a kind of a mantra. And at the very beginning, there's an opportunity for you to hum or om, as Mike knows how to do. It is a specific pitch, so it's or whichever fits best for you. Join as you feel able. This song is called I Am Light by India Ari. Oh, no. Poor Rob. The things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dreams I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am light. Light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. And light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. Oh, I am light. 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 I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
You know, sitting in the service and listening to Cara's beautiful words, listening to the words of Martin Luther King and Howard Thurman, and listening to the song that we just heard, it's like our humanity, our common humanity is waiting to be born, or we are waiting to be born into our common humanity. That the human race is waiting to take its place claim that common humanity, and to reject those forces that would divide us. We heard that again and again and again in so many words. So now what I want to do is I want to read our covenant before we share together. I want you to listen to the covenant and listen to how it reflects everything we've heard in this service. And then we'll join together in saying it. But listen, this congregation is dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences and beneath all our diversities, behind all our differences and beneath all our diversities, there is a unity that binds us together and makes us one in spite of time and death and the space between stars. That covenant is the birthing of our common humanity. So now please join me in saying these words. This congregation is dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences and beneath all our diversities, there is a unity that binds us together and makes us one in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We pause now in silent witness to that unity. And now let us extinguish our chalice. But may we carry that light with us wherever we go.
I don't know where I am. Here we are. Oh, well, I'm just doing announcements. I don't know what I usually say at this point, but it's fine. Oh,
There you go.
yeah, no, I've got them. Thank you. As Cara mentioned earlier, tomorrow we'll be participating in the Martin Luther King Jr. Day March in Leesburg. And so do you still want people to sign up on the form in the back if they've not signed up already? Or they could talk to Denise. There's a form in the back to sign up for the march just so we know you're coming. And so we're meeting, if you want to carpool, we're meeting at 8:45 here at the church. And otherwise, you can just meet us on the lawn at the courthouse, and you'll see our brand new banner. So we should be easy to spot. So we hope you'll join us there. Anything else I should say about that? Any details?
Dress warmly.
Dress warm.
Quite a ways, so we have to work out.
Double socks.
You guys work with each other to work. It's not that far. Yeah.
But dress warm. Okay. And also, there is a collection for Loudon hunger relief. So you can bring non-perishable food items to the courthouse or to Douglas Center, I'm so sorry. And those, they start at 7:30. 7:30 to 9 o'clock is the collection time, it looks like, for those. Okay, let's see. Friday, January 23rd, we hope you will join us for karaoke and pizza night.
Are we gonna call it
Karaoke. I like it. Karaoke and pizza night. I think it's pretty obvious what that is. So, and on February 1st, after the service, so at 11:15, there will be a getting to know you. So that is open to newcomers and old timers alike, just to come and share your stories of how you ended up here, your spiritual journey. And I think that might be it. Yeah, that's good for now.
That's good. Thank you, Jackie. That took some pivoting this morning, so I appreciate you. Friends, there is something of the Spirit. That light that is us, that divine spark of human spirit that makes space for love. May we keep our lights shining. May we seek opportunities for contact with fellowship, especially with those who are different from ourselves. May we take care of ourselves and each other as we work for that global community with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Please rise as you are willing and able and join me in singing our postlude, Come and Go With Me. The words will appear on the screen, but I'll also shout them out. So if you want your hymnal, it's the teal one, 1018, but I think you'll pick up pretty quickly. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. First verse, last one more time. Let's go. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Thank you so much. Please give us a few minutes to get the Zoom link up, and we'll see you on the Zoom coffee hour. The link's in your order of service. Have a blessed day.